Hey guys. So I had a couple of people ask me to tell them some Army stories. I don't have that many Army stories that are clean enough, to tell. But I do have a couple, so I figured we'd come out here, we'd have a cigar, we'd crack open a beer, and would do some Army stories. So, I was in Iraq 08, 09, and I was in a heavy weapons company, so we were, tasked to do different things. We had vehicles, so we'd be asked to go to a FOB, a forward operating base, and pick up a tent peg, or guard these MPs with buses of prisoners on the way to this other place. And sometimes we were what's called QRF, Quick Reaction Force. When I was QRF, we were attached to this one company. It's called Bravo Company, and the company commander of Bravo Company, God bless this guy. He was a funny guy. He was an excellent leader, But he would get these missions, and he would try to fight for us when he got these missions. Now, one thing about this commander, he kind of talked like Mike Tyson. He was from Dominican Republic, but he talked just like Mike Tyson. And we would get these missions coming in from battalion. And battalion would tell us that we were tasked to go up to Taji to pick up a tent peg, And the commander would be like, "Oh, this is bullcrap, Bravo Company. This is bullcrap. I'm gonna go down to the commander. I'm gonna fight for us, Bravo Company. We tasked out too much. We ain't doing this." We would all look at our watches. About a half hour later, he'd come back. "Well, Bravo Company, we gotta do it." So, told you that story to tell you this one. So one day we were put on QRF, or Quick Reaction Force, for the FOB, Forward Operating Base. And we were having trouble reaching out to this other FOB, because we were in charge of QRF on our FOB, on our Forward Operating Base. But we were also part of the Quick Reaction Force on this other FOB, about 6 miles away. And here was one of the problems. We couldn't actually reach out to that FOB via radio, because someone had built like a metal building in between us and the FOB, and it ruined our line of sight for the radios. We could still reach them on a VoIP telephone, voice over IP telephone, but we couldn't reach them over radio. And this is a major concern, because if you're trying to reach, if you get a QRF message, you need to respond quickly to whatever the problem is. So I was talking with one of the commo guys, one of the, I think, 25 uniforms, and I asked him, like, well, what can you do to fix the problem? And he's like, well, we can't, because the ionosphere and the reflection of the blah 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 blah. And I'm listening, and I'm nodding. And I could kind of get it. He just didn't feel like doing the work, He wanted to go back and play video games. And so I said to the guy, like, well, can we just build the antenna higher? Because radio stations got really big antennas, and my car only has a small antenna. So maybe if we built the antenna higher, we could reach out to the FOB. And his response was, he gave me a bunch of BS. All right. Now, here's one thing you need to know about me. So I'm a scrounger. I was that guy. Every unit has that guy. And I was that guy. Like, if you needed something, I would figure out a way to get it. I knew people. Everyone kind of knew me because I have a very distinctive look, And I never stole anything, but I was definitely good at acquiring things. So one day I'm walking to chow, and I'm thinking, like, man, how can we make this antenna higher? And I walk past the ADOC, and the ADOC is a building on the forward operating base that controls area defense. I'm looking up at the ADOC. On my way to chow, I'm looking at it. And there must be 10 antennas sticking out of the ADOC. And I'm looking at that thing. you know, they can't possibly be using every one of those antennas, right? So I head over to the ADOC. I find a ladder. And this ladder, it was like this wooden ladder. It looked like it had been there since Babylonian times, I put this ladder up on the ADOC and I climb up this rickety ladder like it's gonna break any second. I get up on top of the ADOC and it's just a field of antennas, OE254 antennas and OE254 bags. Now, if you're a combo guy, you know that the OE254 bag is an accountable item, but I think the antenna parts are consumable. If you break one, who cares? You order another one, not a big deal. And not all the antennas were plugged in. It's like they had antennas from like the first rotation up at the top of the ADOC. And I'm like, I struck freaking gold. I'm gonna take these antenna parts, put them in an antenna bag, use the parts to raise the antenna up, and then give the bag to my supply sergeant, which will further ingratiate my supply sergeant with me, because I was that guy that would do the drug deals, So I take the bag, I throw it down on top, to the ground. I'm up on the ADOC and disassembling the antennas that aren't connected, and I'm throwing the parts down. This female specialist, she comes out of the ADOC, this female soldier, and she lights up a cigarette, and she looks up at me. She goes, "You need help there, Sergeant?" I look down at her like, "Yeah, if you could put the parts in the bag." So I'm up there stealing acquiring antenna parts, and she's helping me take them by putting them in the bag. So I finished taking everything I need, right? And I climbed out, and she goes back inside. She finishes her cigarette. She actually asked me, "Do you want me to help you carry this?" I'm like, "Oh no, specialist. I didn't want her to see my name tape or who I was, So I get back to our TOC, our Tactical Operations Center, and I tell the radio guys, like, "Hey, don't energize the radio for a little while. I want to try something." So I get up there, I raise the poles up, and I told the guy, "Hey, try to call out to the fob." And they called out to the fob, and we could reach him. Awesome. So I go back up to my room, probably take a shower as I'm covered in dirt, And I get woken up. It's like, took a nap, I get woken up and I go answer the door. It's my first sergeant. I'm standing there, a pair of underwear on, one sock, and my first sergeant says, like, "Hey, commander needs to see you right now." And whenever I hear that from the first sergeant, I start going through the mental Rolodex of all the stuff that I had done. And I was thinking, I haven't done anything recently that could get me in trouble. So I'm not sure what this is about. I mean, it could always be like, "Hey, commander needs you to sign this." It woke me up for that. So Roger, first sergeant, put my uniform on, grab my pistol, go downstairs, go to the CP command post, and the S6 is there. The S6 is usually a captain or a major, and he is in charge of communications for the entire battalion. And he wasn't happy with what I did. And he wanted the commander, he was threatening, "I'm going to talk to the battalion commander, field grade Article 15, I'm going to try to take a stripe. You made us look stupid." God bless, my commander said, "No, you made you look stupid. He's just trying to solve a problem." So my commander stood up for me. And then my commander yelled at me for a good 5 minutes. "Sergeant McBeth, you can't be doing what you're doing. You can't be stealing stuff from other units. You need to go through the chain of command. You know what I'm saying? You need to go through the chain of command, because I don't need this hot button. I need this hot button from the commander, Sergeant McBeth." So I stand at attention, and I listen to the commander. I've been chewed out before, right? I can handle it. They're not going to take a stripe. I'll be okay. And that seems to make the S6 happy. And he leaves. my commander, after the guy leaves, my commander says, Son Macbeth, you know the problem? The problem is you got caught. Don't do it again, but do it again. You know what I mean? I think I learned more about leadership in that moment than I had in any other Army school. So that's one of my clean Army stories. Cheers.